Fitness columnist Micaela Whitworth. And Micaela, you're here to talk about runner's knee.
Yes.
Exactly what is runner's knee?
Okay, so runner's knee can mean a variety of different things, but in general, most people are talking about patellofemoral syndrome.
Patella who? Femoral?
Patellofemoral.
Okay.
So this can usually feel like pain under the kneecap or just kind of around the kneecap. And it's caused not just by running, but by other activities such as jogging, walking, cycling. All of those things can do it.
And does it only happen when they're doing those activities?
No, it can be afterwards.
Also, it persists.
It can be persistent. And it can be on and off. It's not always something that like you feel every single time. But after a long winter of being inside, and now you see these runners outdoors, they're probably, going too hard, too fast right away, and then they might start to experience some pain in their knee. Mm-hmm. So there's lots of different reasons of things that can cause this. So one is overuse, running too much. Malalignment, trauma to the knee itself, flat feet, and what I see the most is weaknesses and tightnesses in the lower extremity, so the leg. Because with patellofemoral, what usually ends up happening is that person has tight IT bands. I don't know if you've heard of IT band.
IT band?
Yeah, IT band is
no.
So right at the hip, kind of down the side of your leg,
okay,
all the way to the knee. That can get very tight from sitting or from running as well.
Are you talking about a muscle or?
This is a ligament,
a ligament.
From here to here.
Oh, okay.
And then most of these people also have tight quadricep muscle. And a weakness, the quadricep muscles it's four muscles, and it's the inner part of the knee that can be a little bit weaker or underactive. Mm-hmm. So we need to work on strengthening those areas as well. And then it can also be a weakness through the abductors, so through the hip. So you want to work on a combination of those things, and that can help relieve some of the pain. Mm-hmm. But you want to make sure that that's exactly what you have first.
Okay.
So patellofemoral syndrome, a lot of people might think, okay, I have patellofemoral, I just got to do these exercises, they're quite easy, but there can be other things that are wrong with your knee. So make sure you speak with your doctor first to make sure you have the right diagnosis, as there could be, maybe an ACL tear or a meniscus tear, and that's something that you really want to make sure you have addressed.
And they all would feel the same, roughly?
It's just general pain in the knee. Okay. So a lot of people can confuse one or the other. The other ones are usually more painful than patellofemoral, so just make sure you're seeking your doctor's advice. And if it is patellofemoral syndrome, then there's a few exercises that you can do. Mm-hmm. So it's strengthening those areas as well as lengthening the other areas. So I have 4 videos for us today. Okay. So the first one is on the foam roller. You've used the foam roller before?
Yes. Don't remember enjoying it.
It's my wonderful friend Christopher, who had never actually used a foam roller till the other day. And as much as he looks like he's enjoying this, this can actually be quite painful. Mm-hmm. So this is for your quads, so the front of the leg. And this, you want to roll, a couple seconds, up and down, find a point of tightness that really kind of hurts, and then you want to hang out there for a few seconds.
So what does this do? So it loosens the tight area?
Yeah, so you want to go all the way from right above the knee all the way to the top. You'll feel it, because if you actually aren't so tight there, it's not really so painful.
Oh, yeah?
If you go on there and it's like, ow, okay, then you should probably be using the foam roller. Okay. So that's the one area you want to do. And then the second area is going to be the IT band, which can actually be a bit more painful.
That side leg? That's
on the side. So you want to make sure you play around with your angle on this. You'll know when you found it, because it actually, it hurts. Especially if you are someone that runs a lot and maybe has a desk job in the daytime. So sitting can also make this tighter. So you're just rolling all the way up, all the way down. And again, when you find that point of tightness, you want to just hang out on that spot for a few seconds.
So like, how many times would you do that? Would it actually go away if you kept doing this?
If you did this every day, every single day, within a couple weeks, you should start to feel like, can't even find that anymore.
So you'd be able to do the foam roller and be laughing. Like,
it wouldn't hurt as much if you're doing it on a regular basis, but if you're still doing things that are going to tighten it, which is the running and the sitting, then it's always going to probably be a little bit painful, but not as much as initially.
Okay, so a couple more exercises?
Yeah, so we have 2 actual exercises that are to strengthen the vastus medialis, which is that part of the quadricep muscle that I talked about. So it's just above the knee on the inner portion. So I have 2 different ones. The first one, I believe, is quad sets. So all you need is a towel Or, you know, I use a pair of pants that I had, rolled it up.
What happened to Christopher? He's weeping in the corner somewhere.
You know, he was a little sad after we filmed that segment. Said, forget it.
Yeah, that hurts too much.
So these ones are the strengthening ones. So all I'm really doing, it looks like I'm just bending at the knee, straightening it. But what I'm trying to do is just contract my quadricep muscle. So by having that towel underneath, it's kind of giving you a focus of trying to like press your knee into it. And that's going to start to stimulate the muscle fibers of that vastus medialis. And having that get a lot stronger and active is going to help make sure that that pain is not there anymore. And then that next exercise, the last one, it's the same idea, so working on that same part, which is terminal knee extensions. And with that, you just need an exercise band. You can do that anywhere. And same sort of movement as the quad sets. You're just bending and straightening.
And that works the muscle on the inside of the knee.
Yes.
Low down.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing with patellofemoral syndrome or anyone that runs, they should be working on what I call prehab as opposed to rehab. So before you have that pain, you should be working on these exercises. And that can actually prevent it from happening in the first place. So you want to take those precautions because it's no fun after being like, okay, I want to run. I've been inside all winter. And then now, well, now I have to take time off and I have to go to physiotherapy. So you might as well start with these now while the next few weeks are probably still going to be cold. And when you're ready to run, when spring actually does arrive, you should be feeling a lot better.
But before you start with those, make sure that's the problem that you have.
Exactly.
Get the diagnosis.
Yeah, make sure your diagnosis is correct. Talk to your doctor. You can even go and see a physiotherapist first and then continue on with these exercises. But just also you want to follow the RICE principles. Do you know the RICE principles?
I do, but what is it? Raise?
Rest, ice, compression,
and elevation.
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you want to make sure if you are having that, because some people get this on a regular basis, they know what it is. If it flares up, do that first, maybe for a couple weeks, make sure the pain has died down, inflammation's gone, and then you can start strengthening.
Did cheese doodles help?
Well, maybe I don't know, I should ask Chris. I probably should have gave him some cheese doodles after I made him do that.
Oh, National Cheese Doodle Day. You want a cheese doodle?
You know, it's not working on me. I'm not going to do it.